The 816th edition of the MMA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Naira Bets. Bet the Kentucky Derby by using promo code SGPN25 for a $25 free bet plus a $200 deposit match bonus. That's at nairabets.com/SGPN25 and start winning today.
Howdy ho, Degenerinos. Welcome to episode 816 of the MMA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network, dedicated to one of our YouTube friends, as per usual, Glenn Geipy, who wants to know how come none of our actual plays are overs. That's because we are not Yanni. We make actually winning plays on fighters. We don't. I guess we probably have before.
We talk about overs and unders sometimes. Like,
yeah,
I don't do it in a. So, like, you know, this whole network was built off of Ryan and Kramer, Ryan and Kramer. That's the same guy. Sean and Kramer, talking about like their pick every single week against the spread in football. So, like, we do our pick every single week on the money line for the fights. And like, if you listen closely to what I say, like, usually I say something like, I see them doing this over 25 minutes. I see them doing this over 15 minutes. I see them getting them out of there. That's usually a pretty clear indication of what I'm thinking. But yes, to your point, we could probably say the overs and unders a little bit more often. Sometimes I use them in my fancy dancy plays at the end.
Yep, it's true. Yeah, that's the one time that we definitely occasionally dive in it. But I don't know. I don't really. I guess I do in other sports. I play plays like that, but I don't know. And occasionally I do in MMA as well. But
it's not my favorite one in MMA, just because like I underestimate people's ability to finish or overestimate their ability to finish fast.
Right.
Because I'm like, oh, they're way better. They'll finish them fast. And then unless they're Malcolm Wellmaker, our favorite welder in the world. Actually, he's not a welder anymore. Did you see that?
No, he quit. Congrats to him. Yeah.
Yeah. Congrats on not having to. I mean, it seemed like a pretty good gig anyway, but
welders make good money. Do they not? Yeah. They make good money up here.
Yeah, he was like a full union welder too. So he was doing good for himself.
Hopefully he can get that back if this here fighting thing doesn't
look pretty good on the first night.
But even if it does pan out, the way UFC pays, you may have to find another job anyhow. So, all right, we are talking about, as we did yesterday, UFC Fight Night Sandhagen versus Figueiredo, aka UFC Des Moines. Yes, they're headed to Des Moines for the first time ever, and to Iowa for the first time since 2000. So this is like before the boom. The big tough MMA boom that we had. So it's been a long time since they've been into that would be called the Heartland, would it not? Iowa, flyover country, right?
Sure.
I don't know if I could pick Des Moines out on a map, or Iowa. I probably could. Maybe I could. But can you name the Canadian Prime Minister, Gumby? We'll send it right back at you.
No, I think I knew it was Trudeau, but it's not Trudeau anymore.
Mark Carney. There you go. Now you know. He's a Carney. There you go.
I went to school with a Matt Carney.
Oh, maybe there's a relation. Maybe he can't be Prime Minister. Maybe he's really secretly an American all this time. All right. So, yeah, we're headed to Iowa virtually. Des Moines, Iowa. Saturday is when it's happening. 7 p.m. are the prelims. Main card is 10 p.m., so it's a later one. This week, Wells Fargo Arena, if you want to make the trek to Des Moines. We covered half the card yesterday because they have it nicely broken down, 6 on the prelims, 6 on the main card. We're going to dive into that after I ask a slight favor from you. If you haven't already, make sure you give us 5 stars or all the hearts or all the thumbs up or whatever you can do. Comment, all that type of stuff to support SGPN's free content. That helps us keep the lights on and keep giving you free stuff without putting things behind paywalls and all that fun stuff. All right, now we're headed to Des Moines. 6 fights. As I said yesterday, some interesting lines. I think it's more of the main card. I'm thinking of the lines have gotten kind of wide in fights and started wider than I expected to begin with anyhow.
Yeah.
Or at least a couple fights.
The main event for sure.
Yes, one fight, I guess, is what I'm really thinking of.
Yeah.
All right, we're breaking things down with 2 fighters who you probably thought that guy's in the UFC. They weren't in the UFC until fairly recently. Then they got re-signed. Why is Jeremy Stevens back in the UFC, Gumby? I know it's in Iowa, but
yeah, it's in Iowa.
Who cares?
It's just in Iowa. They're letting him lay down his gloves where he wants to.
Like, since when
fought for him
30
They fought for him 30 times.
It's true. He also ended up in jail. I remember that. That was great when he was in jail and Dana White was fighting with the press. No, he's going to show up. He's going to show up. And the press like, no, he's in jail. Dana White, for some reason, was going to die, and Jeremy Stephens is going to show up hill. And guess what? Jeremy Stephens didn't show up because Jeremy Stephens was in jail. All right. He's going to be in Iowa, though, this coming Saturday if he doesn't get arrested. Jeremy Stephens versus Mason Jones. Yep, he's back as well. 3 5-minute rounds, 1:55. Let's break it down if we have to here. There's one fight that Gumby doesn't want to make picks for. I think this one, he's pretty sure of the pick, but we'll see. Lil Heathen, Jeremy Stephens, 29-21 with 1 no contest. So yeah, 51 fights he's had in his career. 19 knockouts, 2 submissions. He's been knocked out 3 times, submitted 5 times. That would count as durable for sure. 15-18 with 1 no contest over 2 stints in the UFC. This will be stint number 3 coming up. This is re-debut. His re-debut. He's 1-5 over his last 6. Got submitted in his last bout. That was back in November 2022. He's not won since June 2022. This is definitely UFC caliber fighter right here. 1-2 in PFL. Used to fight at 145. Missed weight before there, but this is lightweight, so no worries. Hopefully, 2005 pro MMA debut. 0-1-1 in boxing. 3-0 in bare knuckle boxing. He probably should have stuck with that. He's outstruck his opponents in the UFC by 0.12 strikes per minute, plus 425. The Dragon, Mason Jones, 15-2 with 1 no contest, 7 knockouts, 3 submissions, never been finished in a fight, 1-2 with 1 no contest in the UFC. So he's only lost outside of the UFC. This is his re-debut as well. He's won 4 straight and 5 of 6. He's not lost since July 2022. He's a 2-time Cage Warriors champion. He was the lightweight champion and the welterweight champion because he used to fight up a weight class as well. An inch height, 3 inches of reach over Stephens, 9 years younger, more active landing strikes, better grappling stats than Stephens. He did outstrike his opponents in the UFC by 0.67 strikes per minute, minus 530. Obviously, I'm taking Mason Jones here. At least they're giving him a layup to kick things off here. Only having 2 career losses and still getting cut from the UFC is kind of rough. But yeah, he's proven he can win everywhere except the UFC. But Jeremy Stephens is not UFC level at this point anyhow, so this should be a win for him.
Yeah, and as long as he works his grappling early, it should be a wash. He's always been a good grappler, but kind of strikes too much. And, Stephens still has a little bit of hands, as we've seen in his bare knuckle fights. Yeah. But the other thing is, too, that I think is the reason why this is so wide is maybe people came to this realization. It's like his last stint in the UFC was really tough. He got released following going 1-1 after 2 fights. And the win was over number 14th ranked David Onama. And then the loss was to Ludovic Klein, who is about to fight Matthews Gamrot. Like that's a tough ask of him. And he was tough in both those fights too. So, I think he's going to take it to Jeremy Stephens. I think we're going to see probably an early finish in this one. Hey, you want to over under? I'll take the under in this one. Yeah. I like the under in this one. I like, Mason Jones, inside the distance props, all that kind of stuff. He should cruise here.
Yep, for sure. Mason Jones is our pick here. All right, next fight. We got a Canadian. We have a Canadian on the prelims. We got a Canadian on the main card as well.
He's Ukrainian, is he not? He lives in Canada now, but I think he's Ukrainian.
What with the name? He seems like a European name, does it not? I don't know where he was born. He said he was born in Canada, and he's fighting out of Burlington. So
I've seen him carry a Ukrainian flag in. Maybe that's is it Ukraine? Yeah, I think it's a Ukrainian flag he carries in. So maybe it's his parents are just Ukrainian.
Yeah. Yep. We do have quite a few Ukrainian people in this here area here. Cameron Smotherman is from the States. Serhiy is from Canada, as I said. 3 5-minute rounds. Let's break her down by telling you about Smotherman first. He is the babyface killer. He is on Gumby's other podcast, Top Turtle, this week. So check out that interview. He is 12-4, 6 knockouts, 1 submission. He's been knocked out twice. 1-0 in the UFC. He's won 4 straight and 8 of 9. He went 0-1 in Contender Series. Who beat him, Gumby?
Constant. No.
Yeah. Say it. Say it.
Yeah, it's. I wanted to say Konstantinos Philippou, but he's the much older middleweight who has that Greek sounding name. But it's something like that, right?
Konstantinos Gregorio, I think.
So it's the Cyprus one, not the Georgian one.
There you go. The Cyprus Konstantinos. He is a regional champ. He's a year younger than Sidey. He's more active landing strikes. He outstruck his opponent. Actually, 2 opponents. We're counting Contender Series here by 1.69 strikes per minute. He's at plus 120. Sidey is 11-2, 7 knockouts, 1 submission, never been finished in a fight. 1-1 in the UFC, 7-1 over his last 8. He did win his last bout. He went 1-0 in Contender Series. He's got multiple regional championships on his
mantle.
Finally, I can say it again. Correct. Get our shirt, get our merch, get our gear, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store. Use fight at 145, 2 inches of height, 3 inches of reach over Smotherman. He's outstruck his opponents by 0.43 strikes per minute in the UFC and Contender Series. He's at -135, so a close one here.
I'm going to go Smotherman. I like his ability to mix things up. And I think that's going to be big for him in this fight because we've seen Sidey, like, obviously he's a good rangy striker. Like, he's able to hit you from places where you're not used to being hit. We saw it in the first fight with Ramon Tavares and a little bit less in the second fight with Ramon Tavares. He's got power, he's got range. He stuffed some of the takedowns for Garrett Armfield, which feels pretty good. But, Smotherman has always been like a really explosive fighter. His only 2 losses were getting like just chin checked at the worst possible moment. He to me, went in there and beat Mando Gutierrez, who's now in the semifinals of the PFL $500,000 playoffs. He beat Ryan Cuse since he was on Contender Series. Like, basically all the people he's beaten on Contender Series are better than the guy off of Contender Series are better than the guy he lost to it on it. And so like he's looked really good since that. And then obviously, he beat Jake Hadley. And pieced him up on the feet, worked him. I think the mixture of grappling and striking here is going to be good enough for Smotherman. I'll take him as a small dog.
I'm taking him as well. Of course, Gumby is because you got to fade the Canadian. But yeah, I'm taking
the Canadian. Yeah,
the Canadian, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, I'm taking Smotherman as well. So it still seems to have lots of promise. We liked him. That was Fury that we were watching him in before, right?
Yeah,
I believe that was. Was he the champ there? Yeah,
he was just about to fight for the title when he got the call to fight Jake Hadley, which, by the way, you can hear all about on the latest episode of the Top Turtle MMA podcast.
I set you up. Yeah. He beat pretty good fighter in Hadley on short notice too, which is
he pieced him up too. It was like it was pretty obvious he had won.
So give me the Smotherman. All right, we're gonna get you some more picks after I tell you about Edge Boost. Edge Boost is the first ever bank account built for bettors, ensuring all gambling transactions are approved. No usage fees, no minimums, earns cashback rewards, 100% approval for all betting deposits. Sign up today at edgeboost.bet with promo code SGPN and deposit $25 and Edge Boost will match the deposit. That's edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN. And we're brought to you by Nyra Bets. That's NYRA Bets. It's Derby week at SGPN. Make sure to check out our horse racing podcast, Notorious OTB, for all your picks. Plus, get in on the action of the most exciting 2 minutes in sports with Nyra Bets. Sign up today and boost your Derby bankroll with a $25 free bet and $200 deposit bonus with promo code SGPN25. Join now to claim your $25 free bet and $200 deposit match bonus at Nyra Bets. That's nyrabets.com/SGPN25. And we are brought to you by mybookie.ag. MyBookie is your place to bet on every sport, including the NBA playoffs, plus props for every game for the true degens, the MyBookie money bag. MyBookie accepts customers from a ton of locations, easy deposits, and lightning fast payouts using crypto. Check out the Al Horford prop bets, and of course, check out the UFC lines we're going to talk about today. And when you do head over to mybookie.ag, make sure you use our promo code MMASGPN for 100% deposit match up to $1,000. Terms and conditions apply. That's mybookie.ag, promo code MMASGPN. All right, we're sticking with the bantamweights. Montel Jackson versus Daniel Marcos. U.S. versus Peru, another Peruvian on this fight card. And he's wearing a toque that says Peru, I believe, in his Tapology photo as well. So do they really need to wear toques in Peru? I don't think they do they?
I don't know. That's a pretty long country. It's probably got all different kinds of climates.
You think so? I assume you know what a toque is, right? It's not just a Canadian thing.
No, it's not.
You have to wear toques up in the mountain, right? It gets cold.
I think we have different names for everything, but yeah, I know what.
Yes, you do. All right, Sankora. Do you have a name for that? Marcos's nickname? It's just, I don't think it means anything, right? It's just his nickname.
It's if I'm not mistaken, part of where he's from, and also he liked the fact that if you said it repeatedly, it at a certain point it sounds like you're saying corazon, which is the Spanish word for heart. Yes,
there you go. Cool. Very, very cool. 17-0 with 1 no contest for Marcos. He's never been beat. That means he's been knocked out. He's knocked out 8 people. 4-0 with 1 no contest in the UFC. He's won 2 straight. He went 1-0 in Contender Series. He's a regional champ. He's fight at 145. 2015 pro MMA debut. More active landing strikes than Jackson. He's outstruck his opponents by 1.65 strikes per minute plus 180. Quick Mike Jackson, spelt wrong, is
Montel Jackson, not Mike Jackson.
Montel Jackson, Mike Jackson. Mike. Oh,
that dude's not fighting in the UFC anymore.
Yes, he. How many times did he fight though? He fought way more than he should have. Like 3, maybe.
Two, I think.
Was it only the 2? Okay, that's still too many. Montel Jackson, quick Montel Jackson, 14-2, 8 knockouts, 1 submission. He's never been finished in a fight. 8-2 in the UFC. He's won 5 straight and 8 of 9. 2 straight wins via TKO or KO, not even TKO. Straight knockouts. Has not lost since July 2020. Missed weight before at 135. He went 1-0 in Contender Series. Used to fight up at 145 and 155. 3 inches height, 6 inches of reach over Marcos. That's huge. Better striking stats, better grappling stats. He's outstruck his opponents with 1.97 strikes per minute, minus 200. Give me Montel Jackson. I like Montel Jackson. I'm sad that this number is soaring. Maybe out of the unplayable zone. It was under 200 when I checked it yesterday. I think the main knock on Jackson is he just doesn't fight enough. He's fought one time per year since like 2021 or 2022. When he does fight, he looks amazing, as his record has shown recently. I think he's better than Marcos at everything. Striking, grappling, he's way bigger. He's fought much better competition. Hopefully he can get some fights piled up in 2025 and get climbing the bantamweight ranks. But Jackson's my pick.
I'm going to take Marcos.
Whoa! After all of that, really?
Yeah. The bottom line for me is you're right. He does look good in the 16 seconds he fights. Right? Like
that's true. His fights
he's fought 18 seconds in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, he's got the power. But what have we seen from Marcos is the ability to cut angles and stay away from that power. And like he's absorbed some strikes and they haven't bothered him. He's just in there with Adrian Yanez for 15 minutes and looked just fine the whole time. And the thing I like about that is like if he can drag Montel Jackson into deep waters, like is he going to be able to swim? Like is he going to be able to hang in those deep waters? On top of that, what I also like about this is that like with the long layoffs that we've seen from Montel Jackson, what's the first thing that typically is like a little rusty is it's your angles and your timing, right? In terms of your striking. And, he walked in there against a couple of guys who maybe don't cut the best angles and ate one of his punches. And he's like, 17-second win. But Daniel Marcos is not that. Daniel Marcos is not going to stand in front of him. Daniel Marcos is going to make him work. And if he is not able to find that big knockout shot early on, man, I don't know that he finds it later either. Like, I think that power slowly fades away. Maybe he tries to get the wrestling going, but Marcos has done a pretty damn good job of stuffing takedowns in his career so far too. Yeah, I think Marcos is kind of a bad matchup for him. Like, this is the last kind of fighter he wants to see. He wants to see somebody like we're about to see these middleweights in the next fight we break down. Like he wants somebody who's going to stand in front of him and swing. And he's not going to get that here, I don't think. So give me Marcos.
If Marcos wins, we're going to have an interesting prospect on our hands in bantamweight. So that would be a big win for him. All right, this is the fight Gumby doesn't want to pick a winner in, but we're going to make him.
I haven't picked one before we started recording. I've since buckled down.
Okay, yeah, you have to pick first. So I thought you'd have a slam dunk pick here, but we'll see. Santiago Ponzinibbio is who we're talking about. He's from Argentina. He's fighting Daniel Rodriguez from the United States. They are fighting at welterweight. I can tell you about D-Rod first, which would be funny if that was Ponzinibbio's nickname, but it is sadly not. It's Rodriguez. He's 18-5, 8 knockouts, 4 submissions. He's been knocked out once, submitted once. Durable guy. 8-4 in the UFC. 1-3 over his last 4. 5-3 over his last 8. He did win his last bout, though. He used to fight at 155 and 185. He has failed a drug test fairly recently. Regional champ, 1-0 in Contender Series, 1-0 in Bellator. 2015 pro MMA debut. 1-1 as a pro boxer. An inch height, an inch of reach. More active landing strikes than Ponzinibbio. Better grappling stats than Ponzinibbio. He's outstruck his opponents by 2.03 strikes per minute. He's at plus 102. The Argentine dagger, or Gente Boa, which means good people, is 30-8. 30-8. 17 knockouts, 6 submissions. He's been knocked out 4 times, 12-7 in the UFC, 1-2 over his last 3, 2-4 over his last 6, 3-5 over his last 8. Not the greatest run here. TKO win in his last bout, though. 4-0 in the Ultimate Fighter. 2008 pro MMA debut. He's outstruck his opponents by 0.19 strikes per minute. He's at minus 120. So a close fight. A couple fighters that are on the way down, though. And a couple fighters who have both fought Alex Morono. So this is basically Alex Morono math that we're going to break down here.
Yeah, no, I'm going to go with Ponzinibbio. I was a little hesitant because kind of looks spotty in his last few fights.
Mm-hmm.
Like even in his wins, he doesn't look particularly good. But the bottom line is I think these are two guys who are going to stand in front of each other and trade. And if you look at a lot of Daniel Rodriguez's recent wins, and like you can go back and you can be like, oh, this guy knocks people out. But if you look at his recent wins, he hasn't knocked anybody out in some time. You know, he's kind of become a guy who throws real big, but has gotten tired to the point where he no longer can knock you out. And like he's still getting knocked out, which isn't a good sign. He's going to split decisions with Alex Morono and stuff like that. Whereas like I think, you know, obviously with his last fight, Ponzinibbio still got the hands to knock people out. And like if they're just going to stand in front of each other and trade, you know, I don't like picking a winner in those types of fights because both these guys are old and have taken a lot of shots, but one of them seems to have lost some of the zip on his punch and the other one hasn't. So I'll take Ponzinibbio.
I'll take D-Rod. I'm not like Gumby. I don't have much faith in either of these guys at this point. But I will take the dog. I'll lean into my stats. The stats say take Rodriguez because he's got better grappling in his stats and he's got better strike differential. But really, there's, you know, not a heck of a lot separating these two guys. So really, I'm not full-throatedly taking D-Rod. But we had to make a pick because that's what we do. And so D-Rod is my pick. And yeah, I thought you'd be in on Ponzinibbio, and you were, but it took some.
Not as excitedly as I've been in the past.
Well, it's been probably a few years since that. So
yeah,
just out of, you know, that's the way it goes. These things happen in MMA. All right, we'll go to our co-main event. This one is a more interesting fight for sure. It is at 185. Reinier de Ridder from the Netherlands versus Bo Nickal from the United States of America. We'll tell you about de Ridder first, the Dutch Knight. Or RDR. Obviously, I would go with the Dutch Knight nickname rather than initials. He's 19-2, 4 knockouts, 13 submissions. He's been knocked out twice. 2-0 in the UFC. He has won 3 straight, and before that, he had lost 2 straight. All those fights ended with a finish, the wins and the losses in the 5. He's a 2-time one championship champion, so he's fought the greatest and biggest and brightest of all time in MMA in one. Used to fight at 205. He's got multiple regional championships on his
mantle.
Correct. Get our shirt, get our merch, get our gear at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store. Get sticky with it. He's made his debut in Pro MMA in 2013. 0-1-1 as a pro grappler. In grappling competitions, he was a 2-time silver medalist. I think it was on the Euro, like the European National Championships in grappling. 3 inches of height, 2 inches reach over Nickal. More active landing strikes. He's outstruck his opponents in the UFC by 0.59 strikes per minute. Plus 260. This is one of the fights where the odds have soared a little bit into Nickal's favor. Nickal is 7-0, 2 knockouts, 4 submissions, 4-0 in the UFC, 2-0 on the Contender Series. He's a wrestling world champion, 6 years younger than de Ridder, better striking stats. He's outstruck his opponents in the UFC and the Contender Series by 0.79 strikes per minute, minus 300. Nickal's the pick. I'll always take wrestling over grappling, but
he's not going to wrestle in this fight. There's no chance he wrestles in this fight.
I was going to say he's probably better on the feet though. So I'll take Nickal here.
Yeah, I think there's a 0% chance he, like when this fight got posted,
smart
I was
not
like,
to.
yeah, when this fight, I was, when it got posted, I was like, ooh, I kind of like Reinier de Ridder in this one because his jiu-jitsu is just, you know, something that Bo Nickal hasn't really dealt with. And then I was like, oh, because he doesn't have to. And he showed in his fight with Paul Craig, he isn't going to. There's no, he's got no interest in grappling good grapplers. He's going to box good grapplers and he's going to grapple good boxers. And like, this is an example of a guy who, and there's probably not tons of them right now, that is like substantially worse than Bo Nickal on the feet in terms of his striking. You know, he's slower, not putting it together, was actually getting beat up by Gerald Mearshart a little bit on the feet. And he's really good at jiu-jitsu, but he's not taking down Bo Nickal, and I don't think he's going to find the submission. So as long as Bo Nickal does what I expect him to do, which is like, he's been really good in terms of his game planning. Is it fun to watch? Hell no, it's not fun to watch. But like, he's been really good in terms of just like not engaging people in what they're good at. And I think as long as he does that here, he's going to win.
Reasonable step up in competition for him though. This is
this is perfect. It's perfect. Yeah. The UFC is playing his cards perfect. Yeah,
this is a good IQ test as well. Because if he does decide to wrestle, then you know he may find himself in trouble. So, all right, Nickal is both our picks. It's now time for Gumby's bonus underdog pick'em play for the episode for you. Underdog pick'em, you can play any sport and win up to 100 times your money. What are we playing today?
So we're gonna go with Marina Rodriguez in her fight with Jillian Robertson. Her significant strikes in that one is listed at 36.5. And I think as long as Jillian Robertson doesn't sub her in the first, like this fight is probably going to go some distance, and racking up 37 significant strikes seems pretty easy. So give me the higher than on her significant strikes.
Okay. So take that advice and take my code for you, our code, MMASGPN, and head over to underdog.fantasy.com. And if you use our code MMASGPN, you get a special pick and first-time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus credits. So underdogfantasy.com, promo code MMASGPN. And we're brought to you by Rhythm, RITHMM. Rhythm is your home for AI-backed picks and props. Dominate the NBA playoffs and MLB prop market with Rhythm. Build your own model is simple. Build your own model is simple and easy. Easier than me reading this ad copy, apparently. Rhythm knows you'll love it, and that's why they include a 7-day free trial. Rhythm, obviously, you're going to want to check out the Al Horford prop plays for. If the Celtics have already won by the time you hear this, then just wait till round 2. Rhythm has some amazing deals going on now. 25% off monthly subscription with promo code SGPN25 and 50% off an annual subscription with promo code SGPN50. So that's RITHMM, promo code SGPN25 or SGPN50. Do both. All right, main event time. Very interesting main event with a very interesting betting line, to say the least. I was shocked when I saw the betting line. Cory Sandhagen versus Deiveson Figueiredo fighting at bantamweight, 5-minute rounds. Figueiredo is Daiko or Deuce de Guerra, God of War, 24-4-1, 9 knockouts, 9 submissions. He's been knocked out once, submitted once. I think him and Brandon Moreno should have like separate records, records against each other and records against everyone else.
Yeah.
Pretty much all the losses almost have been to Brandon Moreno. 13-4-1 in the UFC, a 2-time champion at flyweight. So that was predominantly his weight class until fairly recently. Now he's up at bantamweight, doing okay at bantamweight. 3-1 over his last 4, 4-3 over his last 7. He did lose his last bout. He missed weight before at 125. 2012 pro MMA debut. He's been outstruck in the UFC by 0.64 strikes per minute. He has better grappling stats than Sandhagen. He's at plus 380. The Sandman is 17-5, 7 knockouts, 3 submissions. He's been submitted once. Durable guy. Definitely, he's durable. 10-4 in the UFC, 3-1 over his last 4, 3-3 over his last 6. He lost his last fight as well. Used to fight up at 145. He's a regional champion. 2015 pro MMA debut. 6 inches of height, 2 inches of reach, 5 years younger than Figueiredo. Better striking stats, twice more active landing strikes. He's outstruck his opponents in the UFC by 1.56 strikes per minute, minus 450. Explain this line to me, Gumby, and then make your pick.
I mean, like, yeah, I think this line is way too wide. I'm on Sandhagen. Like, I'm still picking him.
Me too.
But like, man, like I would not pick him at that number. Like I'm not playing that number. Because Figueiredo has paths to victory, right? Like he's shown he's a pretty damn good wrestler. He's shown he can uncork a right hand and hurt people. But the bottom line is, has he like really hurt anybody up at bantamweight? Not really. And like he is, he is his stature wise is very much a flyweight. Now he's going to be fighting the gangliest dude who exists at bantamweight, right? Like, is there anybody longer and ganglier than Cory Sandhagen? I don't.
You've been saying
so.
gangly a lot recently.
Yeah,
you said gangly a couple episodes ago too.
A lot of gangly dudes. Who is that? Simeon Powell. Yeah, Simeon Powell's gangly too. But yeah, Cory Sandhagen, gangly, cuts weird angles, makes it so it's really hard to hit him square. And then like. I know the Umar Nurmagomedov fight didn't look great, but there were a lot of moments where he scrambled really well in that fight. Like Umar kept trying to take his back. He did a whole bunch of things that like really messed with Umar's ability to settle in and get any offense going. And like, they weren't winning techniques, but like his jiu-jitsu is really good. I think he works with Ryan Hall, if I'm not mistaken. And so like, I can't imagine Figueiredo is going to like take it to him on the ground. I think he cuts angles too well to take it to him on the feet. I'll go Sandhagen.
Yeah, me too. I would like this more like high 100s maybe. No way it should be.
I thought it was going to be like 230, 245, somewhere in that range. Like south of negative 250.
Yeah, Sandhagen's got to be a nightmare to fight, and especially he's going to be way smaller than him too. Like Sandhagen's going to be way bigger than him. He's younger, probably has less wear and tear on him, but it's not like Sandhagen hasn't been in a bunch of wars. He's been in some more. Exactly. Both these guys are grizzled that way, but yeah, he's my pick, but I'm not even throwing it in a parlay. This one's much closer than minus 450.
Agreed.
For sure. All right, let's recap, but don't you go away. We got more plays for you. I don't have any of mine set. Hopefully you know my picks for me, Gumby. Sandhagen, Nickal. He has Ponzinibbio. I have Rodriguez. I have Jackson. He has Marcos. We both have Smotherman. After I put your name down there, we both have Jones. Now, thing at the end of the episode we like to do is locks, dogs, props, and either a parlay or a round robin. Like I said, I have no idea who I'm picking yet, Gumby. So lucky it's your turn to go first. Maybe you have my picks already set up for me. Who's
Yeah, you're gonna follow my first pick. For my lock of the week, I'm gonna take Ivana Petrovic.
Thinking about it.
Yeah, low 200s, not completely out of control yet, but like, man, she should be better than Juliana Miller.
Yeah, so Petrovic is minus 220 is what we locked ourselves in on yesterday when we did the show. Now I could copy you, or the other odds are much wider. That's the thing. I like to pick one that we both are in on. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to go Petrovic. Give me Peterson. I know heavyweights is kind of risky, but I remember when I was breaking down this fight, I thought, oh yeah, Peterson's going to win this for sure, and the line's not terrible. So give me Thomas the Train Peterson at minus 250. All right, dog.
For my dog, I'm going to take Marina Rodriguez. Okay. I think her striking and take that defense is going to dominate that fight.
That's a decent sized dog for you. It is, where is she? Plus 260. Nice dog. I think I'll take Smotherman with it. We just talked about it. Plus 120 for my dog pick.
All right. And I'm going to go for my prop. I'm going to take Bo Nickal, but I'm going to take him by decision.
Okay. Cool.
I think he's going to stand and trade with Reinier DeRieder. And I don't think he's going to tag DeRieder or finish him. I think we're going to see kind of what we saw in that Paul Craig fight, which was not terribly interesting in any way, shape, or form. But him by decision is plus 210. So you're kind of getting a great value there on that one, possibly going the full 15 minutes.
Plus 210. All right. Got it. What am I going to do for my prop play? Let me see. How about... Let me look up the line first. I know this is exciting, just like I did yesterday's podcast too. Look things up while they don't have it here. Do you know what Robertson via decision is? Do you have that in front of you?
Jillian Robertson by decision?
Yeah. Don't give me that tone, mister.
I mean, just
don't give me that tone.
You think she's gonna take it to the ground and not finish her?
Yes. Because you told us yesterday how she's not gonna finish her. So yes, I do think.
Yeah, I just don't think she's gonna have to. We have to be on the ground.
I know what you think.
Yeah,
I don't know if I want that.
Well, then why am I looking it up?
What's Sandhagen via decision? I don't think Sandhagen is going to finish this fight either. I think
I will support you in your quest to find that number. Hang on one second.
All right, I'm finding that one. Sandhagen via decision minus 139, a little lower.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, I got 139 here. Yeah.
All right, fine. I'll take that, because Gummy doesn't approve of the other one. All right, Petrovic, Peterson are the locks. Rodriguez, Smotherman are the dogs. Nickal via decision. Sandhagen via decision. We're planning on long ass fights. Apparently, they are prop plays. What do we got this week? Hungry Man, just Jong, Superfan, blank.
We're just gonna go parlay. I hit half of it last week. The plus 275 half. I've got two halves I like here. We're gonna call this the fade the bad fighter parlay.
Hey, that's my thing.
Yeah. So the first one I'm going to take is my lock, Ivana Petrovic, but I'm going to take her by sub. I know Juliana Miller is good at submissions, but I don't think she's faced anybody who is going to take the submission game to her, which I think Petrovic could. And right now, her by sub is plus 500, which I think is kind of absurd. So we're going to take Petrovic, who's got
three submissions out of 7 wins. So
and very recent, it's like all of the recent fights too. Like her most recent finishes are all submissions. So yeah, give me Petrovic by submission. I'm going to pair that with Mason Jones going to knock out Jeremy Stevens. It might be TKO on the ground, but Mason Jones is a guy who doesn't necessarily look for submissions when he's grounded pounding. He just finishes it that way. And what has Jeremy Stevens got left? I can't imagine a lot. So give me Mason Jones by knockout. That one's plus 200. You're going to pair those two together and you're going to get exactly 17-1.
17-1. Nice. All right. Petrovic sub, Jones knockout. We are set. All right. You are set. You can talk more about this event or anything else you like in the fights channel on our Discord. So sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord fights is the channel on there. We are on the YouTube. If you're not watching us already, make sure you subscribe. You can hit us up in the comments if you like at MMA Gambling Podcast, SGPN MMA on Twitter. He's at Gummy Really, and I'm at Jeff Fox Writer. At Jeff Fox Writer on Instagram as well. Now that we told you who's going to win and how, go to my Substack, enter my free UFC Pick'em contest for this coming weekend. You can win stuff for free. Money, MMA.substack.com. Gumby has the Top Turtle MMA podcast. He's cramming 3 action-packed interviews on this week's episode.
Yeah, we got Cameron Smotherman, we got Jillian Robertson, and we got Tim Johnson.
And the dogs are in on all those people, right? They love it. They can't wait. Where else can you go? sportsgamblingpodcast.com, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon. The Gummy will bid you farewell until we're back on Sunday.
All right, I'm Data Gumby Freeland. He's little campster Jeff Fox, and we will see you on Sunday.